Hello, YouTube fans and family out there. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Darlene, and I'll be starting your reading shortly. I have some cards here, and I'm going to shuffle, but I don't really think I need them today, but we'll see. We'll just see if something pops out. I will look at them in a little bit. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I know that your time is valuable, and there are a lot of good readers here on YouTube, so I appreciate you clicking on my video. Thank you. And every time you interact with a video here on YouTube, it helps that channel to grow. So thank you for helping mine to grow. Also, while I'm shuffling, I am just getting started here on YouTube, so I appreciate, again, even more than bigger channels if you're clicking on my video. But I will let you know when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a, whoa, cards are flying, just a second. I'm going to do a live reading, and plan is to start doing lives. I want to do them on a regular basis, maybe not every week, but I want to be available to answer some of your questions about channeling and being a medium and those kinds of things. And then if I have time during excuse me, during those lives, I may answer some personal questions for you as well. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you will get notified when I'm going to do that. And also we'll post in the community tab here on my channel. You know, I just feel like these cards are not, all right, I think they're done, but excuse me so much. Y'all, if you've been here a while, I have allergies and it's a constant thing, so I apologize for my coughing and whatnot. So today I am bringing through a gentleman who was on the tall side, thin, what I would probably call almost lanky, if you know that term, lanky. I've been called lanky because I was tall and thin, you know, from youth, always have been. But he was a quiet type, and I apologize. Let me give you one more piece of news. I'm afraid I'll forget this by the time I get into this energy into the end. I'm also doing twin flame readings every week, so if you think you're in a twin flame relationship, you might want to check out that playlist. Okay, back to this, sorry. So he is coming through to talk to his brother and a younger woman who he's calling his daughter, but I'll explain in a minute why. I'm not sure if that's literal, or you the viewer, this woman may be someone he felt like you were his daughter. Because I feel like this man lived alone most of his life. If he was married at some point, it was when he was very young, and because I just don't see a wife type or a partner type in his life. Most of his life, I feel like this man lived alone. And he lived in the same house for like, I don't know, 50, 60 years, a long time in the same house. Reminds me a bit of architecture like I might see in New England or somewhere up northeast, but he's not telling me where it was. I don't really know that. But he's coming through. It's a simple message. He's coming through to tell you thank you for the way you cared for him toward the end. Now, he's shown me himself in a hospital bed toward the very end of his life. He was not communicative very well, if at all, the last, I'm going to say, few days for certain of his life. He was struggling in a lot of pain. His body had just deteriorated. You know, it feels to him like it very possibly could have been cancer, but I didn't hear cancer. What I had was pervasive. That was the word that they gave me. It was whatever he had going on was pervasive in his body, and he was just weak and on a lot of medications. So he was not really conscious most of that time, as I said. But what he's thanking you for is that both of you, both his brother and then this young woman, whoever you are, you would come to his room, his hospital room, and you would sit and you would read to him. And he very much appreciated that, and he wants to thank you for that. He's saying, the brother used to read sports stories, things about sports to him, which he liked. Just a second, I'm listening. And then this young woman, he's saying you read things, just sort of general things to him, but you would tell him jokes, or you would read jokes, funny things, humorous things. And he's saying it wasn't always his taste, but he always very much appreciated that you're trying to keep the energy light, keep it, under the circumstances. But most of all, what he's saying is how very much he appreciated that you treated him like he was still alive. You treated him like he was still there, because he was. He was still there. He could hear you. He just couldn't respond. He's also, I skipped ahead a bit, he's also showing that so you'll know who this is. He was a collector, and I'm trying to see what this is. It was something small like butterflies or coins. Actually, they're saying maybe both. He could have collected both of those. Somewhere, I don't know if this will make sense, somewhere back when there was another person in his life. I'm not sure this was a wife. It could have been a sister. But somewhere back there, many, many moons ago, certainly years, maybe decades ago, he was getting a bit obsessive about collecting. And some woman figure in his life said, no, that's just enough. That's just enough. Because apparently there was something else she was starting to collect, and this person said, oh, no, you've just got to get a handle on this thing. And I don't know, that could have been you, but I got the feeling it was somebody a long time ago. I don't think you're old enough to have had that conversation, but I guess it's possible. But somebody told him that at one point. No, you've got to stop this collecting thing. You're getting obsessive about this. This is a little bit crazy now. Get a handle on this. And he listened. So he pared it down to apparently these one or two things that he particularly liked to collect. He was a shy man, very quiet. I think I said that already. He wasn't antisocial. But he wasn't particularly social because he just didn't. Again, he was on the shy side. He didn't really do so well with small talk, and many of us struggle with that. Talk to me all day long about deep subjects or esoteric things, and I'll talk your ear off, but talk to me about everyday small talk, and it's like, so maybe he was like that. See, I'm listening, see if there's anything else. He's just saying, he's coming back to the hospital room just thanking you, and he's also saying the medical staff, he said, everybody took such excellent care of him. It was, and I think he's feeling, or he's expressing as if he was surprised by that level of care, not that he was pessimistic about it. I hope this is coming across, but that everyone really, that's the word, thank you. Everyone treated him with dignity. That's what he wants to say. Everyone treated him with dignity. And that's so important, y'all. For you young people out there, when people get old and we can't do for ourselves anymore, give us our dignity. You have to give up your physical abilities and sometimes your mental abilities and your health goals and all those things. And really, most of the time we have no control over that, so give us at least our dignity as we age. So for all you older people, you hit that like button if you agree with that. Anyway, let me get down here to these cards and see if there's any further messages because they did pop out. I wasn't going to pull them, but since they popped out, let me see here what's, and I know you can't see them, I'll show them to you. He is, because if you haven't met him before, I always try to remember to say this, sometimes I don't remember. I don't know, because I'm not looking at the cards when I'm talking to you. I'm looking out the window or at the playground or whatever. I don't know if these cards are about you, the viewer, or more about the message for him until I look at them. So that's why I need just a second here to see what this means. I'm getting two different stories, so bear with me. Okay, one story is about him and this is just more about his own energy that he realizes. He said he feels like in his own way he had a very fertile life, but he kept to himself, kind of had everything. What I'm hearing is living behind the scenes. That's how he felt, like, you know, the high priestess is things that you can't see. And it's also intuition, it's not just that. And many people looked at his life and felt that he did not live in a balanced way because many people, you know, think that you got to be out and running around and socializing all the time. But he said it was a choice he made. It was a choice he made. And now I'm getting another story here is, this feels to me like, okay, now I told you there was more than one story. Let me see if I can finish the storyline first. He made a choice, even though, again, his life didn't seem balanced. It was a conscious choice. And he, at some point, it bothered him for many, many years that people thought of him in a negative way, or they didn't understand him. That's a better way to say it. They didn't understand because he doesn't feel like a total recluse, but kind of, sort of, like he just really kept himself a lot. And at first that was a burden on him, how people thought about him when he was younger, but he accepted it finally, at some point in his life, he just accepted it, and he was okay with that. He was okay with who he was. Now, another line I was getting, and if you, the brother or the young woman that this message is for, could be that, you know, I said I didn't really see a woman in the picture, but the Empress here, it can represent fertility, certainly. Fertility in life, in things, adventures, business, whatever. But I'm getting it, but she is pregnant. Now, she's pregnant with life and the universe and, again, possibilities. And so, either... two very different stories here. Either that's just going back to the message I just gave you, was he felt that's what he was, but because of his shyness, he couldn't really come out, and that fertility, if you will, was never really recognized in his life, I guess you could say. But there also could have been someone in his past that that got pregnant. I feel it could have been by him. And that could be why he, I don't know what happened there though, why he chose to be single. And I'm trying to see, I think he may have walked away from this woman, not because he didn't care. He did care about her. I mean, he did care about her. Because the Lover's card is, you know, yes, it means a choice. But to me, it's a choice in love, and it's in the reverse. So it feels like he could have walked away from her. There were things that that were hidden, that weren't seen. She couldn't see, he couldn't see maybe. But there was no balance. There was not a good balance in this relationship. I feel like it was a hard choice for him. And he tried to make plans. I just think he had other things that he wasn't ready to grow up. Maybe this is when he was very, very young. He wasn't ready to grow up. So now if you, this young woman, happen to be this child, or I think he's older. He seemed like a much older man, so I don't think you would be his wife, but I guess that's a possibility. But you could even be this child. Maybe that's the daughter that he was referring to earlier on. That could very well be the case. But I feel like, for whatever reason, he felt that that burden was too heavy to bear, either, and this is interesting, either for himself or for this woman, because it feels to me, again, I feel like he loved her. That it doesn't feel like he walked away from this situation, if this is the story, that he didn't love her. I think maybe he didn't think he was good for her. Maybe he didn't think he was good enough for her. Maybe there was some other, again, hidden circumstance that, this could have been a forbidden love of some sort. Maybe you were different, cultures, races, all that kind of thing. When this would have happened in his youth was simply not accepted. So it could have been that he thought that being with you would have been a burden on you. This woman would have been a burden on her, and that's why he walked away. That's kind of the story I'm getting. Real quickly, let me look. Yeah, he was very emotional about it. He held back his cup of love. I've got this King of Wands in the reverse. Now, I don't feel like this was him. I don't feel like this feels like this could have been, like, if this was the story I was just telling you, this could have been this woman's father, who was very angry and upset and egotistical and selfish in not wanting these two to be together. So this turned out, this took a turn, but it's a sad story. But if that's the case, if you know this story, then this is what it is. I'm not sure I understand. That's my Siri. Thank you, Siri. I don't need you to understand that. Love that. Yeah, he looked back. I feel like he looked back. Oh, this is sad. He looked back on this many, many times, most of his life. In fact, he looked back on this and felt nostalgic about it, missed her, missed the life he might have had with her. And I'm getting the clear message, he didn't want this to end. He was not the one that wanted this to end in his heart. But whatever was going on here that was hidden stopped this relationship from moving forward. But there was love here. There was love here. There was just some truth that couldn't be spoken, or there was something that I'm feeling couldn't come out, a truth that couldn't come out. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, then there would have been unhappiness had this truth come out and been communicated. Excuse me. And now I'm getting the Queen of Wands in reverse. I got the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this could have followed by the Page of Swords. So yeah, and the Page of Swords followed by somebody walking away. So to me, this is like bad news, and because of somebody walking away. So I feel like this King and Queen of Wands could have been this woman's parents, and they did not want the two of them together, and that very well could have been the story here. This is boy, I didn't see this coming, but that's the beauty of being an intuitive. You just let it come through you. So that is definitely seems to be a storyline here that. And again, there could be, oftentimes my readings speak to more than one family. They're two very similar stories, but so that could be two different stories here. One of them, this was just him, and he had nothing to do with another woman. The first story I told you, and then this story that I've just finished sharing here. Is there anything else, Spirit, you'd like me to cut the deck? I don't usually say that. Yeah, they don't. I don't know if they ever told me to cut the deck in one of these kinds of readings, but they did. And what's here is, yeah, the Five of Wands in reverse, and that's him. He didn't want to cause conflict. That's the message there. That was the bottom line. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he said he just didn't want to cause conflict. So apparently he removed himself from the situation, or, you know, however that panned out. Is there anything else, Spirit, you'd like me to tell my viewers here? No, he's just coming back now to you, the viewers, and saying thank you again for, as I said, the care that you gave him in the hospital room, and again for the dignity that you allowed him that last part of his life. That he's very, very grateful. Somebody got the what? He's talking about his collection. Somebody got the collection. So one of you got the collection, and it was nothing that you would have ever been interested in. You used to think it was silly or mundane or trivial, whatever. And this may be the brother, but I'm not sure. But he's saying, but now, he said, when you got it, you started looking at it, you started realizing, well, this is pretty interesting, isn't it? And he's saying you kept it. He sees that you kept it. You know, you could have sold it or whatever. No, he's saying that you kept the collection, whatever that was. He said, yeah, I was a weird old man. And he said, guess what? You're about to be one too. And he's teasing the brother. He's teasing the brother. I think that's it. He's pulling his energy back. So thank you all for being here. Again, I appreciate you watching, each and every one. And again, if you'll hit that like button on the way out, I would be very grateful. And stay tuned. As I said, I'm going live, and check out my other playlist. Thank you all. I appreciate your time, and I value each and every one of you. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.